announced this fourth album, so I feel like we're on the hot tails of something hot, and we also have lots to talk about. So let's get right to it. You said that this is going to be the most like Halestorm album that you've ever released. Of course, you've had 4 albums and EPs in between. Why do you say that?
In my opinion, this is going to be the first record, and we always say this, we hope we get better as musicians as we go on,
sure.
with each record, but this is going to be the first record where you can really hear all 4 corners of Halestorm and what makes us a band, and if any of you have ever seen us live, I think this is the closest to what you see when you see us live. So, in a lot of these records that we put out, okay, we have a catchy song, and I sing on it, and then that's about it. And so there's so many different layers to this record that I'm so proud to show everybody.
How did you manage to transfer that live sensibility into the studio?
I think a lot of it had to do with working with Nick Raskulinecz, our producer. He's awesome. He's a big rock and roll fan, and he just, like when we just played in Nashville, and he came out and he's out in the crowd just going nuts. He
came all the way in the back, over everyone.
He just loves it, and he didn't let us get away with not making great moments, and it's really, he goes all the way with the recording. Every chorus is its own. There's no fly it. You got to perform every aspect of the song, which these days is becoming rare. People just in Pro Tools take it and, oh, that chorus worked, send it over to the next one. And I think that helps a lot, and he's the king of the skadoosh. Skadoosh.
And honestly, like what we've realized over the years is that we're really bad liars, and if we're reading it or we're like having to do it like 10,000 times, there's always that one moment where like you were just having so much fun making the music that you're performing, that you're recording, and that just shows through on this record. There's a lot of fun, and we did go extreme us, and he kept us in that lane,
in that zone.
Yeah.
Do you think it took you a while to pull this together? You recorded it earlier this year, right? But it's been in the works for.
When did we start? We started.
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
But we also did all of it, nearly all of it, at Nick's studio.
Okay.
From pre-production and writing the songs and shedding them and then recording them as a demo and then recording them again with something tweaked, and a lot of these songs were recorded 3 or 4 times before this.
Did you enter the studio with most of it all written? And
No, not at all.
Wow.
Which is usually the way that we do it. We'll have all the songs kind of ready, and everybody approves them, and then we go in the studio for like a month and we bang it out, and then we like release it and we're like, God, is it good? I don't know. And this time, no, we didn't really know what direction we wanted to take ourselves in.
We tried to do that way, what was it, summer 2016, and that winter and fall, we wrote a bunch of songs, and they were just like, they were okay, and they were really good. They would have done well on radio. We know it would have been a good record, but it wasn't good enough, and we know just as a band and as a genre, we gotta figure out how to push this a little bit and do something a little different, a little more edgy, and so we kind of went into the studio last January with Nick, and we're like, we don't know what to do, man. We wrote all this stuff, and we know it's fine, but we want to be better than that, and he's like, all right, cool. He's like, let's just start with the 5 of us in the room, plug in, and let's start playing. Show me what you got.
So it was like that every year. He's like, okay, who's got something? I have an idea. You got a riff. What do you got? And we would just start and go down the rabbit hole. And it was a lot of hard work. And everyone on our team, nobody heard a note for a very long time, which is very frustrating for everybody. And then we ended up with this, and we're so proud of it because we know that this is good, and we know that it's very close to our hearts. So
I love that. It sounds like a very authentic process that you guys took with this album, which is awesome.
Slow ride.
And but we have a couple months before it comes out.
Yeah,
you mentioned radio. How much does radio matter to you all, as in this day and age?
For our genre, it's still active rock, which has been great to us over the years since the beginning. Really, it's still great. It's it fuels a lot of the streaming and a lot of the awareness of new songs, and I still listen to the radio in the car. Listen to the rock stations.
And it's all about to us, there's a definite we are our road family. We're a family, and we have an extended family, which is, a lot of these, radio stations around the country and around the world. And we've been a band since '97, so like we're kind of like we get to see all of it. There is radio, and then there is the streaming and everything that's going on now. So we're not afraid to use all of it.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned in my lead up that you released your album in 2009, your first full length. Of course, you had like an EP before that, but you really have been together 20 years, really this year. I mean, does it feel, or like last year, really 2018 already? But does it feel like that long?
Well, we started when we were two.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, because these guys, if you're watching, these two are brothers, the ones on the brother and sister on the end. Yeah. So you started very young.
Yes, it's been an incredible ride, and we literally say this every day, how lucky we are and how so cool that we're still here, that we still like each other, and that people still care. You guys are a big part of that, and you enable us to do what we love every day.
That's really, really great. We kicked off the segment with the song Uncomfortable, and that song rocks. I mean, it really hits at you hard. What was the story behind that song? 'Cause it's sort of like a no-nonsense kind of track to me.
It is. As far as lyrically, this is about being unapologetically yourself, and it's something that we've kind of stood for and that I've talked with fans about a lot. Online, I have an amazing relationship with these people that are silly enough to follow us and follow me, and how in this day and age especially, you can't make everybody happy. You just can't, and I know that has been a personal struggle for me throughout my life. And so this song is just basically saying that's okay. If you can't make everybody happy, make yourself happy, be you, and be proud that just by being yourself, you're gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Sure. And musically, what can you say about it?
Oh yeah, this was kind of the one of the very first batches of kind of free-for-all jams in the studio. Just kind of coming off tour, and seems like every time we go in the studio after touring, we kind of feel like just a pent-up pressure cooker, just ready to go. And that's usually where we come up. It seems to be a pattern. With the last record, it was Mayhem. With the record before that, it was Love Bites. These songs that we're just like, we just want to make something crazy and high energy and really fun to play and really fun to listen to, stuff that we would like. And just by sheer luck, it ends up being the first single.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the team was like, yeah, we like the energy. Let's do it.
Actually, I remember when we were writing that chorus riff, I wrote it as a joke. I was like, see, this kind of riff that I don't want to put on the record.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nick was like, no, dude, just go. The octave is actually cool. And I was like, it's cool? He was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was like, oh, okay, I trust you. I know nothing.
Collaborative effort, that's for sure. I mean,
And something for the punk rockers too. I think they'll like it.
and there you go. Well, your last album, people were saying maybe it was a little too pop, or not the Halestorm that they're familiar with. Did that infuse the direction you were going to go in this record?
Yeah, absolutely. The great thing about albums is we treat our entire career as they're times in our life. And at the time that we were writing the last record, Into the Wildlife, I had a lot of songs that I was writing on piano at the time. It was just kind of our mood that we were in. We had just 3 or 4 of us had just moved to Nashville, and so we got to know this producer who we were his very first hard rock band, and so he was stoked. But it's like, oh, I don't know, what are we doing?
With us, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing about Nick, was that he had seen us so many times live, and he kind of understood what we were all about, and was, just like a lot of people say that, like, wow, you guys sound so different live than on the record. And he was kind of the producer that was like, you know what, I'll bet that I could capture this on tape finally. So that's why we say this is probably the most Halestorm sounding record to date.
Yeah, so we basically were like, okay, that was really fun, and we had that was great.
Yep.
Now let's kick it up a notch.
I love it. I think the fans are going to love it too. You've teamed up with other artists through the years, though. You did Lindsey Sterling. What is it like to team up with artists from Bye.